Hi everyone, and welcome back to Toys of the Week. So this week I want to tell you about my favorite 4 or 5 places to get toys here in Indiana, including my 3 favorite toy stores, and we're talking mostly vintage toys. But before I do that, I want to start by showing you one of my favorite toy sets from the 70s, and that's made by the Mego Corporation. And that's the Wizard of Oz set. So in honor of Wicked for Good coming out in about 6 weeks, I think, I want to show you what started it all, and that's, of course, Wizard of Oz. And here's the 70s Mego Dorothy figure, which was actually a really nice job they did on her, I thought. She's got her braids and her gingham check dress, her ruby slippers, which aren't so ruby in this case. And I just noticed these are 2 different shoes, so that's weird. So we'll have to see if somebody else has one of her shoes. She's got a high heel one with a bow, which I believe is correct, and then this that I have no idea whose shoe that is. Here's a closer view of her face. Looks kind of like Judy Garland. So, moving on to the Scarecrow. Now, I am missing his hat and shoes, but here is the Scarecrow. So I think he looks pretty decent. The hair, or whatever you want to call that, the straw is a little strange, but I like his outfit. They did a pretty good job on him, and one of these days I hope to find a hat. The shoes I'm not so worried about, but yeah, he looks pretty good. And then, let's see, the Tin Man, we'll just go in order of when they joined the little foursome for the first 4. Here's the Tin Man, of course, played by Jack Haley, and he's got a movable chest part or mid part. He does have his boots. They stay on pretty well, whereas the Scarecrows tend to fall off, and that's probably what happened over the years. They did a really good job on these faces, I think. And last of the original 4 travelers, we have the Lion. Now, Mego redid some of these, including Dorothy, I think both Witches, and the Lion in recent years, but these are dolls from the 70s. I've got the Lion from the newer set, and he's actually quite nice looking, but I decided to stick with, for today, this vintage one. So he's got, this mane, he's got his tail, and his shoes, which are pretty good staying on him. Now his face, not so, it doesn't look so much like the actor. The Wicked Witch, whose hat will not stay on, by the way, but I'll put it back on. Let me see if it looks better this way. Here she is. She's got quite a look on her face, doesn't she? Got her normal black dress, green skin, and looks like a bit of lipstick maybe. Without the hat, by the way, that's what her hair looks like. Kind of messed up in the back. To brush that out. Okay. She's rather skinny, and she does normally have a broom. I think I have the broom, but it's still over in a cabinet. I didn't grab that. So there she is. And speaking of witches, here's the Good Witch, Glinda the Good. So, of course, this is the 2 main characters from Wicked. And here she is. Her hair is rather curly in this version, especially in the back. It's got quite a flip, rather than curls so much. She doesn't really look like Billy Burke that much, I don't think, but just a little, maybe just a hint of. And her crown, her dress. So this is such a fun set, and that they did all, 7 of these. I was really so happy, and the Wizard is one that was probably out later, I believe, or you had to send away for it, something like that, as I recall. I could be wrong about that. Here's his striped pants, which I don't know if he actually had striped pants. This was the same body they did the penguin figure with, I think, because they're both kind of rotund and a little squat, or short. His hat does come off. And I think they did a decent job with the Frank Morgan look for this character. Who played, the wizard, the guard, the carriage driver, etc. Not Captain, but Professor Marvel. So yeah, so there is that wonderful set from the 70s. Now, before I go on, what I'm going to be doing is telling you about a few of the places that I really like around the central Indiana area. And some of them I've mentioned, and then I have a video to show you from one of them of a trip I took about 2 months ago now, or 2.5, that I haven't shown yet, sort of a field trip to that. So why don't we start with that place, which is Kokomo Toys and Collectibles. Now, I've mentioned them on my channel numerous times, probably at least 3, because every time I go, I talk about what I got there. Now, this time, I'm not going to be showing what I got there except in the video, because I've sold most of it since then. Most of what I bought to sell. So I had the big gym camper with a couple figures and a bunch of accessories. I just sold that a couple weeks ago, actually here locally through Marketplace. And then I had about 5, 6 dolls, including a Brandy doll that I sold, the Holiday Barbie in the red dress from like the early 90s. And you remember that Barbie that had sort of almost like the angel wings? Turned out she was from maybe Odette or something from Swan Lake. So those were some of the dolls, but there were a couple others. But most of them I've sold. I think I only ended up keeping maybe 1, if that. So I won't be showing you that except in the video. So make sure you stay tuned for the end where I tell you, or actually show you, my trip. And it's only about 8 minutes or so, 10 minutes tops of the whole trip. Next time I hope to get a little bit longer. I meant to get longer than that, but that's what it ended up being. So other favorite toy stores besides that, and I do love Kokomo Toys and Collectibles, definitely in the top 5, and this is what I want to talk about today, would be the Toy Pit here in Indianapolis that's near 38th and College, which is the one that's about 5 minutes from my workplace. So once in a great while I go there first, or I stop on a lunch break or something and go over there. I've only been over there actually a handful of times in the last year that they've been there, but I don't need to go that often. So the Toy Pit I recommend highly. It's the biggest toy store, I believe, in the state of Indiana for vintage toys. Kokomo Toys and Collectibles used to be, but this is now the biggest one. And then, let's see, we've got the Toy Drop, which is on the south side of Indy on Madison, or off Madison Avenue down by Southport Road, actually. Again, great smaller toy store and a place that I really like. I've gotten some great deals there, and I find the owners friendly and good to work with. So I recommend the Toy Drop. And they do a parking lot sale every so often. They just did it a week or 2 ago. I've not actually been to those because my issues with the sun and heat tend to prevent me from going to stuff like that very often, or being on my feet too long with my unfortunate back issues. So those are the top 3 I want to mention. But I also want to mention Southport Antique Mall. That's actually around the corner from the Toy Drop. So if you ever go to Southport Antique Mall, you should hit the Toy Drop in the same day, because they're literally a few minutes apart. Southport Antique Mall, of course, is not just for toys, but I do tend to find a good amount of toys there, and I've gotten some interesting things there, like a Byron Lars doll one time a Barbie that he designed, I mean. And the last place I want to mention today is Gilley's Antique Mall. Now, again, Gilley's is not specific to toys, but it's a big, and they may not call it a mall, but Gilley's Antiques in Plainfield, Indiana. So that one I also recommend, because you can always find something interesting at Gilley's, and there's always toys. I have gotten some great things from there, and there's one booth in particular or actually two booths in particular that I think are really great for toys. So, Gilley's in Plainfield, Southport Antique Mall. I would put honorable mention to Exit 76 Antique Mall, or Antiques in Edinburgh, because that one I just talked about in a recent video, and we had a trip there about a month ago. But yeah, that I wouldn't put in the top 5 because it's getting less and less. Every time I go, I seem to see less things I'm interested in. I still like going there, though. I'm just an antique person at heart. Even when it's not toys, I like looking at a lot of antiques and things. So, with that, I hope you enjoyed this part of the video. Stay tuned because next you're going to see about, like I said, 8 to 10 minutes of my field trip to Kokomo Toys and Collectibles, which if you ever get to Kokomo Toys, please do yourself a favor and go because it's so worth it. And they, again, they're really good to work with or to buy from, I mean, and also the selection is amazing. I mean, it's about at least a third the size of the toy pit here in Indianapolis, but they cram a lot in a nice way, not in a disorganized way, into that small store. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching Barbie Dolls of the Week. I'll see you next time. Okay, here we are outside Kokomo Toys and Collectibles. It's 93 out, so I'm not going to stay out here long. I'm going to go in where the toys are. Follow me along. It looks like it's rearranged. Got a ton of toys in here. This place is usually packed, but they just had a parade here and it's been blocked off. It's a really big store, but it's not as big as the Toy Pit in Indy now. That's now the biggest in the state. It's a lot bigger than this, believe it or not. Oh, here's some Simpsons. Mrs. Krabappel's only 10. That's not bad for her. Homer galore. Lisa. There's some stuff over here in the corner. So glad I got to come. I was thinking I wasn't going to make it with all the blocked roads. I couldn't find a way in. Finally I did. And the guy, I called here and the guy told me that the parade had ended, so they should be taking those down, which they were when I got over to this side. And they found a way in. Got a lot of bagged toys. Some of these loose figures are mostly 20 to 30. There are some $10 ones, but boy, that's amazing. And of course they have a ton of Funko Pop, which I'm mostly not into.
But it's all stamped with the Jurassic Park on the palm.
Yeah, so it just depends which ones they are. When it comes to the older ones, you want to look for those neon color
Movie.
Yeah, they like.
But I keep, you know what I mean? I keep finding it. And I'm like,
Yeah, you might.
And I ended up with the whole shelf, and I'm like, I'm not into Jurassic Park. So I thought about maybe unloading. Dinosaurs going for like $20 to $70.
Yeah, it really just depends on what one it is and how
You got
early on.
Gears. And I got rid of all my Gears and Wolf figures. Okay, cool. So
Yeah, I'll let you look around. If you have any other questions, let me know.
Scooby-Doo. I don't think I've seen these before. A whole row of, or section of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And here's, what is this? He-Man or Masters of the Universe. I think these are Masters of the Universe because they're next to the ones in the package that are. Okay, here's the section that I really want to see. Some apes figures. I think I used to have this one of those. A lot of turtle stuff. And then you get into Star Wars. A lot of Star Wars. This must be some old stuff because it's expensive. These are still. Okay, Star Wars figures still on sale for $5. I just don't think they sell much. I have a ton and I guess shouldn't have bought them, but I did. So I'm going to find ways to distribute them. Ah, there's a Dr. Zaius, which I have that one. It's only $25 in the box. Some of the Star Trek vehicles, I'm surprised, aren't more expensive. I sold some that went for more than that, I know. And then here's the Mego wannabe playset for Star Trek. Speaking of Batman, oh, and here's a big gem. Oh my gosh, it has big gems in it. Let's see what's in there.